What are some of those formal and informal ways that we can set the stage for responsible conduct?
For our council, yes, we do have a responsible conduct that we sign at the beginning. But I think it's important for people to know that even though you sign it, it comes back to us as a collective group and also as individuals in order to uphold it. I hear often people saying it might be there, but then if nobody respects it, then there's no reason for it to be there, right? So it comes back to respect. I think is the number one thing. I think respect and trust of each other, and knowing that even though you might have different perspectives, you still allow yourself to trust the other person, to say they're acting in their best interest. And if they're thinking about the community, perhaps they're hearing something that one is not hearing. So you owe them that, for them to, you respect them to show up, right? The other thing is to promote healthy dialogues. And again, even though you sign the document, if you're coming in and you're already close-minded, you're not going to give space for that. And I go back to when I got elected the first time. We all go to or most of us, I should say, go to the LGA, Local Government Association training. And I learned so much from that. And some of the tips that I got, I still remember up to now. And sometimes I even go reference those points, right?
So we brought in an outside facilitator to in our last couple of years, just refocus and recenter on what we wanted to get done and how we effectively do get those items done. But then we also brought in somebody, an expert on how to chair good meetings. And it was great for myself as the regional district chair, but also the committee chairs to have that refresher. But that outside perspective also really touched upon and said, well, hey, I saw that this other facilitator identified as your priorities and how you want to get done. Let's translate into what effective decision making looks like. And she really touched on how everybody is responsible. Only speak when you have something new to add, and try to keep your comments summarized in a way that's effective to your own argument. And it took a bit, but over a couple of months, we went down from 4 or 5 hour meetings to 2 hour meetings. And I don't think the quality of discussion has really suffered. In fact, I think it's improved. More people are speaking on items. People are being really, more sharp with their points and making effective cases for things. And nobody's walking out of the meeting feeling, I think, as exhausted as they were of what a 5, 6 hour meeting.
In terms of tools, because our council for a couple of terms at any rate has been pretty civil and well behaved, I don't think there's been a lot of not a lot of effort to dive into what tools are available. One thing we don't have is an official code of conduct. We do have some agreements we sign in terms of how we behave, and of course our procedure bylaw, which we just went through, but there's room for us to have more tools. You tend not to think of developing tools when things are going okay. Well, that is actually when we should do it.
Once you're on council, leaving time in that orientation period for just social time and activities that are not about policy and governance, but about getting to know each other and finding those threads of mutual agreement, things we can agree on. There's going to be lots of ways we disagree over the 4 years, but that tool at the beginning, and we made signing the code of conduct part of the inauguration ceremony so that you had to sign it in front of your community, in front of the judge. But as Trish says, you have to live it every single day. It's not enough just to sign a piece of paper. Responsible conduct is about thinking about your words and actions and your own reaction. And it's not about perfection. We are all going to make mistakes. And one of the biggest tools at your disposal is apologizing when you make a mistake and owning it. And I think as leaders, that sets a good example for other people.
So in addition to the tools that have been mentioned in this video, there's several resources that are available from the Joint Working Group on Responsible Conduct. Elected officials also need to be aware of and understand the legislation that governs conduct, including the Community Charter, the Local Government Act, the Oath of Office, the BC Human Rights Code, And you can find more information on these resources in the links below.